9/11 is my birthday.
I remember vaguely being in my first grade classroom. I didn't know what was going on at all. My mom came, picked me up, and she tried explaining to me like what had just happened, like the tragedy of the World Trade Center, how it just got hit. So it was really scary.
I was actually asleep. I was in college. I had the day off and I was at home. And my mom got me out of bed and said, she said, check the news. The planes hit the Twin Towers. Seeing the second plane hit on live television, I remember my blood freezing. I remember just time stood still in that one moment to actually see that happen on live television.
I was in my first grade class at Hoover Valley Elementary, and I got called down to the office, and my mom was in there and had a blank expression on her face, so I was very worried. And on the way home, it was silent. I was still worried, and when I got home, I saw the news, and my mom broke down, and that's when it hit me that something bad might be happening.
When it happened, I was in the schoolyard at my elementary school, and I walked up to this boy who always knew everything, and he was like, "Did you hear what happened today?" And I was like, "What happened?" And he was like, "These two planes flew into this tower in New York." And I was like, "No," because I always thought he was lying. I remember getting home and talking to my parents about it, and then watching the news, and all they kept replaying was the tower getting crashed into like 10 times on repeat. It was on every channel, and I just remember kind of the feeling of hysteria, like, is this really happening?
I didn't really have a concept of patriotism, but now looking back, I think it like instilled like that need to like defend your country.
It made me somewhat scared because, of course, hearing all these things about all Middle Easterns that were doing this, and I had a lot of friends at the time that were Middle Eastern, so I somewhat stereotyped them all into being the same way, so it kind of clouded my judgment of the people I was hanging around with.
Well, seeing as I'm a Middle Eastern that lives in America, it was more of like, it wasn't a feeling of, I'm such a proud American, but it was more of like, I felt closer to people who are also Middle Eastern American because I felt like I could relate to them, because everyone thinks how a lot of people are like aiming it all at Middle Easterns like in general when it was just one radical group.
Yeah, I think since then I've really realized how much we need like the army and how those people should be respected, because they don't fight for no reason. They fight for things like 9/11. They fight for our freedoms to not have to worry about things like 9/11 happening. So when it happened, it's like, oh my God, that's why we're patriots. That's why we love our country, and that's why we have something to fight for, and it's worth fighting for.
Yeah, I think it did, like, not then, but now, like, I kind of have a lot more respect.
I don't think my patriotism ever changed, but I think over the past almost decade that my trust in government has declined. I mean, everyone rallied around the flag, I feel like, after September 11th. Then as time progressed and as the war in both Iraq and Afghanistan dragged on, I think that, for me, and I think for a lot of people, that the mission has kind of become obscured.
Well, I think as a country, it made us more aware of the kind of people that are out there and the kind of people that don't like us very much, and I think it brought us together as a country, and it made us all look at the things that we need to achieve in order to be more successful.
I think we're a lot more unified than we were before. We're like, because we want to stick together from like all these tragedies from happening ever again.
I think, well, for the most part, like directly after I can't say like nowadays it's really that great.
Well, I'm actually not really sure if America has really become stronger.
We had a wake-up call, whether we deserved it or not, and so it's kind of, the memory keeps us from letting it happen again. It's something that we'll never really forget, and therefore just its memory has caused us to grow.